What's going on? This is Chase, and I've got an interesting one for you guys today. So, I had a conversation with a coworker this past week, and an interesting concept came up. So, most of our lives, we are told that we need to save money, and cumulatively, as we save money throughout our lives, we will retire, have a good amount of money set aside so that we can live comfortably, and that's kind of the status quo. Well, my friend had the argument that it's actually more advantageous to be fulfilled in your life if you spend more money while you're young. And that was very interesting. So we went into details, and I'll explain why. But basically, it's the exact opposite approach of what we're told our entire lives. We're told to save, and by saving, we will be financially secure. But he's saying that's not the best way to have like a memorable, fulfilling life to some people, and we'll get into the details of it. So I found this article, and this kind of explains a portion of why his argument actually has some hold. First, I gotta say, let's look at this picture. One guy, a bunch of girls dancing around him. That's lucky guy. But anyway, so this article is called the Mysteriously Memorable 20s. And this article goes on to talk about how it's called the reminiscent bump. Or reminiscence bump. And it basically is the concept that your late teens and throughout your 20s is the most memorable part of your life. Whenever you think back to the portion of your lives and you think about the most memories or the most memories you have, basically the best time of your life, your golden years, it's late teens and then 20s. And because of that, because we remember so much of our 20s, wouldn't it make sense to try to make those the best years of your life in every way, so maybe say if you're a penny pincher and you're saving every dime, and you don't get out very much, you don't do very many fun things in your 20s. Well, looking back, say when you're 50, 60, you remember kind of being tight on money all the times in your 20s, and memory-wise, you remember a lot of struggle. And so my friend made the argument, well, what if you got that nice car that you really wanted, but you knew it would kind of strain you for money, but the car would bring you enjoyment in the peak years of your life. And so I think there's obviously pluses and minuses, and it's a very different way of seeing the world. But let's get into kind of the core argument of my viewpoint and then my friend's viewpoint, and then we'll kind of dissect both of them and try and take value from both of them. So I came from the point of view that, let's think about every financial decision you make and think about it in the sense that, is this going to be advantageous over time? Is what I'm putting money into going to yield results, or at the very least not hurt me as much as other investments? And that's for a car, for example. Almost every car you buy is going to depreciate, but depending on what car you buy, it's going to vary very much how much it's going to depreciate. If you get a Toyota Camry, used, say a couple years old, and you have it for 10 years, that's going to depreciate significantly less than if you went out and bought a brand new Jeep, for example. So basically, I told my friend, that I have another buddy that I went to high school with who just bought, we both graduated college, and he bought a new Jeep. And I was like, he spent like $35,000 on a new Jeep, and I was telling my coworker, it's like, I just can't, that's just so much money to drop right now. It's a big debt to take on, especially while you're so young. He's going to be paying it off for a while, and financially, he's going to be a little tight. But my buddy was like, but see, what if he gets so much enjoyment and so much value, personally out of the experiences he creates with that Jeep, that it's worth the financial burden. It's worth putting that much money into it. And I was like, and I knew where he was coming from, because I've heard about the reminiscence bump, and I've heard about how your memories throughout your younger years are kind of stuck in you more so. And if you were going to say you lived to 80, for example, and if you were going to describe the portion of your memory and the portion of like all your favorite memories in life through your 80 years, it would feel like and this is just, this isn't going to be exact, but I'm just trying to give you an idea. Your first, say, 30 years of life, which is almost half, but it's not quite. It's like probably 35-40% of your life would actually feel like more like 60 to 80% of your life, because of your memory of those times. Those memories are going to be so much more vivid, so much more just filled, so that when you think, say you're 80 years old and you look back, 60 to 80% of your memories are going to be from a 30 to 40% time of your life. And that's basically where this whole idea kicks in. It's saying that try and make those periods of your life that your memory is going to take up the most, try and make those times of your life just to the max fulfillment. If you want to get a Corvette and it's just your dream car, but you're like, I'm just going to wait until I'm 60, I'm going to save up so it's financially responsible to get one. Maybe by the time you're 60, it's too late. Maybe the enjoyment you're going to get out of that Corvette is long past. Maybe the only time you could truly enjoy it and value it to its max is when you were 25. And so he took literally the exact opposite view of what I take, which is like, be financially responsible, only buy what you need to buy. And so my counter argument to him, because obviously I see the value in his argument, was, but see, and this is me quoting me, is, but I value valuing my money. And so what does that mean? That means that I know that putting that financial burden of buying an expensive car would not be worth the value it's going to give me regardless, because I'm just kind of my whole mind kind of works around finances just in general, just naturally. And so I think personally, buying an expensive car, sure, I might enjoy it slightly more, but that's not going to amount to all the fear and doubts that I have throughout my owning it, just because I'm tighter on money and this was a dumb decision, I shouldn't have bought this. I could have had enough money to fix whatever part of my house if I just hadn't bought this car. I would rather be comfortable with my financial position and live a more comfortable life that way than trying to get whatever flashy item I see that I kind of want. I just don't think I would value those kind of items enough to be worth it. But in his case, my coworker, he said, because this whole conversation came up because he's debating getting a new car, and obviously he's tight on money, and the car he wants is way out of his price range, or no, it's not necessarily out of his price range, but it'll put him tight. And so I was like, he loves cars, and so he's like, I think I'd get enough value out of it because this is the car I want. I'll get a lot of value out of it. And I told him, well, what if you get an older car and then build it up? You get a new engine for it. You rework the chassis. You get a new paint job on it. You put the time and effort to make a older car that has good bones. You put the time to make it your dream car. That way you're getting experience. You might save money, maybe not, but it's a whole different experience of knowledge coming in because you're fixing up your own car. And he liked that idea. He was like, yeah, I guess that's a good medium, but instead of just dropping a bunch of money on a new car. But anyway, getting down to what my opinion of the his initial argument though of should you spend more money while you're young? Should you actually spend more money so that maybe you can fulfill some of your dreams while you're younger instead of waiting until you're older to try and fulfill those dreams when they don't matter as much to you? My personal thoughts is you should always be responsible with your money. And what I mean by that is don't go over there's a boundary, and if you go over that boundary, you're going to put yourself in a very tight spot, and and everyone kind of knows where that boundary is, but some people are better at keeping it than others. But find that boundary, and then within that boundary, so that you're not screwing yourself later in life, because you don't want to do that. I do not advocate for that at all. But within that set boundary, then go wild. You know if you stay within that boundary, you're going to be fine. So really try and soak up new experiences. Go, try and make weekend trips to, go do things you love. And I think that, and then obviously try and spend as much time with friends and family and generate those memories, staying in on weekends, not doing much. That's going to make time seem like it flies. But if you're generating new vivid memories every weekend by setting up some events, and not honestly, there's a lot of things you can do that don't even cost a lot of money, hiking, or there's just in general there's tons of activities you can do and have a good time without spending a ton of money. So I'd advocate for finding that balance with your paycheck so you're not destroying yourself financially later in your life. But some people just want to go balls to the walls, and and seeing it after this article, can I blame them? No, I don't think I can really blame them, because I understand why they're doing it more now than before. But I don't know, I still advocate for the find what you can afford financially before you commit to big purchases. But let me know what you think. Comment below. Let's have a good conversation about it and see where you're at on the spectrum of spending versus savings. But yeah, comment below, subscribe if you want more. Thanks. Bye.